And welcome to another Crushing It for Christ while calling all cars to come quickly since Christianity has come under fire. Uncle Gary got caught trying to arm wrestle Pastor Greg the other day episode of the Days Grimm. My name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Grimm.
And I'm Drew Head.
What's up, gentlemen? How are you guys?
Doing good.
I'm doing all right.
I feel like Tom's beard looks rough.
Yeah.
I don't feel great. I went to the bar and drank too much. That being said, I'm still here. So, did you guys have a good weekend?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do anything other than work.
Those are sometimes the best, Drew. Keeps you out of trouble. How about you, Tom? Good
All I
weekend?
did was pack.
Oh, yeah, you're moving, dude.
Yeah.
Do we want to disclose your new address so people can find you?
No, I'd rather not.
Okay, sick, dude. Even though I invite strangers into my house every week.
We can switch. We can do it at my house. You want to drive to Boonville every Sunday?
Boone, Vegas. Tom, can you do me a favor and hit him with that intro?
Joining us this week in the Days Grimm studio is Jimmy Marshall. How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
What's
How are
up?
you guys?
J-Bone, J-Daddy.
Any nicknames?
JM. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing incredible.
That's
Actually,
outstanding.
Thomas, you are the third.
Yeah.
I'm James Phillips Marshall the third.
I always
as well.
tell people it took him 3 times to perfect it.
Hey, see? Third time's the charm. That's
Right.
what I always hear. I'm also the third.
Trinity, dude. You know
Hey,
what I'm saying?
Father,
Trinity,
Son,
man.
Holy Spirit.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Shout out to, Jesus, really. So how long have you been Christian?
So I have been Christian since maybe my junior year of high school.
Damn, late bloomer.
Yep, exactly. And I grew up in church. I started going to church probably in 2nd grade, but I didn't actually have a personal relationship with Jesus until probably my junior year of high
I
school.
get it, man. I get
Yep.
it. And personal is the way to go.
You want to
honestly.
tell our listeners who you are and what you do?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Little elevator pitch.
Little elevator pitch, a little 60 seconds or less. Hold on, let me start my timer.
There you go.
I got to start my timer.
Don't worry, I practiced.
All right, go.
All right,
No,
so my
who
name
are
is
you, man?
Jimmy, and I am the communications director at One Life Church here in Evansville. And then on the side, on my YouTube channel and everything else, I talk about the intersection of content and business. That's me. It's my elevator
Big
pitch.
audio book guy, too, from our conversation.
So many audiobooks. I think I have 103 titles in there right now.
That's more than me.
Now, we talked a little bit about... I'm not ignoring you. I got to
That's okay.
start a timer.
Start that 60-second timer.
Well, yeah, I got to start a timer or this bitch will go
That's
off the
true.
rails, dude. We'll be in here for like 4 hours and we
It's
won't
like,
even know what happened.
what day is it?
Yeah, dude. No, but we talked a little bit about you're familiar with the show and you were telling us that you had watched 14 episodes or something in like a day and a half, and I was like, that's impossible. And then you said, but you listen to everything on 2 times.
Yes. So
That's insane.
yeah, so I thought a lot of people did this. Apparently not. So I listened to everything on at least 2 times speed. And I say at least because I downloaded a Chrome extension that allows you to listen to things faster than 2 times speed. So on some of the episodes, I would listen to 2.5 or 2.7. So
Damn.
you get through content. Like I said, I reached out maybe not even a week ago, and I've already gone through like 14 episodes.
Jeez, Louise. So have you? When were you diagnosed with ADD?
What's interesting,
I'm
I
only
feel like
joking.
my brain just works in almost slow-mo now, just because, and I feel like I talk a little bit faster because I listen really fast.
Yeah, there's. Have you ever heard there's a saying or like a correlation between like how fast someone talks and their intelligence levels? Anybody ever heard that?
Could be.
I don't know.
Am I just
the
making that up?
validity of that.
We won't fact
Am I
check
just
it.
making that up?
Maybe.
Have you ever heard that?
Google it.
It sounds good.
And it kind of blows my mind
I'll take
because Ben Shapiro talks really fast, and I don't know how intelligent he is.
I
you
cannot
know-
listen
do
to
you
him
know-
on 2 times speed.
I blocked him on Twitter.
Thomas is gonna block him before he gets blocked.
Oh man, shout out to the dude. Seriously, I love those guys, man. Ben Shapiro, he's an entertainer.
Number 1 result: there is no inherent connection
Oh,
between
no.
the rate of speech and level of
All right,
intelligence.
Drew, we don't need a fact checker over here.
what
Do
up?
you
Let him have
listen
his
to your
dream.
audiobooks on 2 times speed?
Yeah, so Audible, I think, will only let you go to 2 times speed, but typically, I did start listening for the first time in forever, listening to a fiction book for the first time. Because
what is it?
typically, I think it was the Brandon Sanderson series. So I didn't know who it was before. But the guy that recommended it, he said next to Harry Potter, that was his best series. So
Damn.
recommended that. It was like a 25-hour book. Listen to that in 1 times speed just to hang out and relax. But everything else, it's nonfiction and it's only at least 2 times speed.
Yeah, I feel like Do you guys ever listen to podcasts or anything in higher than 1 time
I
speed?
listen to some audiobooks on
No.
1.2.
Have you ever done it? It's like
I have. It's a lot.
You have to work
It's
up to
overwhelming.
it. So you start at 1.25, go to 1.5, and then eventually 2 sounds normal.
dude, no.
You'll get there.
It makes my chest hurt.
I believe in you.
Thank you. I think you're the only person that's ever said that to me.
Hey, somebody's got to.
Okay, so I don't have to ask if you're familiar with the layout of the show. You are all too familiar.
Yes, sir.
Seasoned veteran. And we appreciate all those listens, by the way.
Hey.
Thank you very much. But that being said, you're pretty familiar with the...
The death of the week?
yeah, dude. Drew.
We don't have audio this week. So
That's pretty solid. Oh, man. So, this week's Death of the Week brought to you by Thedaysgrimm.com. It's a pretty okay website where you can get some pretty super sick teas. Hop on there, help us support the channel, and, feed our alcohol problem and nicotine addiction. So, this week's Death of the Week, October 17, 2023 is when this one came out, guys. 1 killed, 2 critically hurt after paraglider, hang glider collide. Woof. I'm glad I let you surprise me with this one. Okay, so here we go. Draper police identified the man who died as age 44, was pronounced dead at the scene of the crash. The pilot of the hang glider has been reported in critical condition today. While it was initially reported that the hang glider pilot had minor injuries and was treated on the scene, police later learned his injuries were indeed severe. Female partner, age 30, strange. They don't give a name there. Weird how they put that in text. Female partner, age 30, is also reported in critical condition this afternoon. And then the original post said, a man died and a woman is seriously hurt Tuesday evening after a paraglider and hang glider collided in midair over Draper. Sergeant Mike Elkins with Draper Police Department said the collision happened around 5 p.m. at the Salt Lake County Flight Park on 15300 Steep Mountain Drive, just in case you guys were wanting to make a stop. The pilot of the tandem paraglider, 44-year-old, died at the scene, Elkins said. Passenger, a woman, again, not named. They're awfully sneaky with this lady. Suffered critical injuries and was airlifted to a hospital. We're going to let that ride there. That's a lot, dude. Also, are you not nervous having just collided in an aerial vehicle being loaded into another aerial vehicle to be taken to the hospital?
Can you imagine she just gets hit by an airplane after the helicopter gets hit by an airplane?
Taken off. Another paraglider to the helicopter.
That's terrible.
It gets caught in the blades, dude. What the?
This is a bad day.
What the hell is going on here, dude?
am I the only one that doesn't really know the difference between hang gliding and paragliding?
So I was wondering that. So what is the difference?
Hang gliders hang from a thing, and
Okay.
paragliders, I think, are the suits.
No. They're both
No.
crafts. They're both
Oh.
yeah, they are crafts.
So one is like this little
Oh, okay.
parachute looking thing, and the other is like this arrow.
It looks like one has a motor. Does the paraglider, does it have a fixed motor behind
There's
it?
a motor?
I don't think usually it's like attached to.
It looks like he's in a seat in the one on the
I
left.
thought you just jumped off like a really high cliff.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between that and parachuting?
It's a triangle.
Well, you're gliding.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're not
okay.
shooting, you're gliding.
Whatever,
Yeah.
dude. This is a nightmare to me.
I just want to know how.
Have you ever skydived?
Oh.
I've never skydived.
Okay, so having experience with that now, I can only explain to you, like, parachuting is hands down the worst part. Because, like, you open at, like, 6,000 feet or something.
Yeah.
So you've got a long way to go down. And it's just constant, because they have to hit the LZ or whatever. So you're just constantly, like, zooming and turning. It's like a roller coaster from hell. It's terrible. That's the worst part. The easiest part is getting out of the plane.
And watching out for hang gliders.
But now I'm terrified. I can only imagine, because when that chute's open, there's nothing below you. You look up, there's nothing above you. It's like, if I just, this is terrifying. to
surely
me.
someone
This is terrifying.
would have seen this One of them should have seen it coming, I feel like.
I don't know how much control you have over steering. I know you have some in hang gliding because this dude's.
Oh, he's having a blasty
no.
blast.
Oh, no.
What happened here? Are you trying to finish my computer
We're
off?
zoomed into 158%.
Yeah. We listen to podcasts at 6 times, and we look at JPEGs
Yeah,
at 130
exactly.
times.
You have this little bar, and I think you can.
I think that
kinda
was the woman
steer
they were
with
talking
this.
about right there.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the couple, actually. That, and then she fell off.
This is minutes before.
very problematic couple.
It looks like she's not even strapped on. She just got a helmet, dude.
She's just holding on like she's on a
Oh, they
motorcycle.
call it hang gliding.
I feel like this is a bad idea.
This is problematic. The fact that there are people out here doing this is like
deserved it.
you're asking to die, dude.
I
Dude,
would never.
that article was written before those people died. You know what I'm saying?
We just want to know who the woman is.
Seriously, shroud of
No
secrecy.
Yeah.
Go back to the
We're not
article.
gonna know.
Because they said it was so funny in the beginning. Because normally in these articles of death that we'd read, it'll say like name of person, comma, age, comma, and then continue with the sentence. That's normal.
Maybe her name is age 30.
Maybe her name is female partner.
It could be.
Yeah, she legally changed her name. Female partner.
I'm not into the whole sharing last names thing, dude. I'll just call myself female partner. Legally change my name to that.
Probably better than a tattoo.
Exactly.
You can legally change your name.
I'm gonna get a tattoo very soon too. Shout out to last week's episode, Echo. I figured it out too. I'm gonna have her stencil it, and if I like it, I'm gonna get it for sure. You in, Drew?
I'll get a tattoo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, with Echo.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, bro. We're going. I'm doing it like before the year's over. I want to do it before she's an official person. We're talking about so the girl we had last week. It hasn't aired yet, so that's why you have no idea what we're talking
Yeah, I'm
about.
like, I didn't watch this episode.
She is a silk acrobat.
She's an aerial silk acrobat.
Mm-hmm. Also a tattoo artist. Also exotic dancer.
Also Russian.
Bartender.
And very Russian. She's very
Very Russian.
She didn't move here until she was 14. Oh, dude, it was so sick.
14 years of Russia?
Yeah. Dude,
My
I think
mother
in Spanish it's 14 años. Dude, she's a neat person. A lot wrapped up in that story. So it was a good time. But anyways, less about that. I guess, I don't know. Let's hang up the... See what I did there?
Too soon.
Let's hang up the paragliding stuff. All right, Drew, onward. Anyways, man. Okay, so let's get down to it.
Yeah.
J-Dog.
So you got involved in the church when you were like 2, and then like found Jesus. You'd say in like middle school. Did you like get involved in the church like ever since that point, or?
Yeah. So I am actually from Mount Vernon, and I started going to church there in 2nd grade, and then after I got saved in like middle school, I started going to youth group there, and then I ended up actually preaching there sometimes. And then once I actually got married, then me and my wife, because she went to a church in Evansville, I went to a church in Mount Vernon, so we were trying to find a place that we could both go together. So and around the same time, I ended up getting this job at One Life, which is here in Evansville, and then that's when I've started actually. I'm on staff there, and then I'm starting to actually do stuff inside the church.
Okay, sick, dude. So when you were doing the youth stuff, was it still... Pardon me. In Posey County, was it still Young Life?
So yeah, Young Life was a part of it. So we were a smaller church called AFM, Agape Family Ministries, and so I was.
Whoa! Hold on.
Greek.
It's Greek.
Agape.
That's one of the names for love.
Okay.
Agape. Yep.
Answer. Got it.
Exactly.
Questions. Answers. You got it.
Yep. So it was part of the youth group there. I actually ended up helping out with my wife's church's youth group, and I had like a summer internship there, and that's where I actually started doing video stuff because that was right after COVID, and we couldn't meet church indoors, so we started creating content online like Bible studies and that kind of stuff.
Did you already go to college for that?
No. So right out of high school, so I started doing Photoshop stuff for my freshman year of high school because I had seen some tutorials on YouTube. And so very heavily got into Photoshop, just watching like all the tutorials I could. Ended up doing like some senior banners of like the sports teams and stuff like that. And then I picked up a camera for the first time because the guy that was making the senior banners, like I would actually edit them, but there was someone taking the pictures. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, let's cut out the middleman. I'll just take the pictures and do the graphics.
One-stop shop, baby.
Stop shop.
Okay, so that's interesting. You might be the only photographer that I know that I don't know about you two, actually. We've never really talked about this, but I don't know that I've ever been told that a photographer started editing photos before they started taking photos.
Really?
The case with either of you?
Nope. I started taking them and didn't know how to edit. So
Interesting.
I mean, I would edit stuff on Instagram before then.
Yeah, but like with Instagram tools and stuff?
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
See, I was like fluent in Photoshop by the time I got a camera.
That's wild to me.
Yeah. So,
But
I'm
also,
still not fluent in Photoshop.
yeah. Well, I'm
Okay.
10 years into the game now, so like anything I can see on the internet, like I can replicate it in Photoshop.
sick, dude. Do you do a lot of Lightroom? Or no?
So Lightroom typically will only be if I'm batch processing a lot of different
okay, like
photographs.
weddings
Yeah,
and stuff.
if I do weddings or anything like that.
You ever do a wedding?
Yeah. So, ironically enough, like a week after I got my first DSLR, my best friend, his sister was getting married, and he's like, "Hey, you have a camera now. You could shoot this wedding." And I'm like, "I don't know if I could shoot this wedding." I just got like
It's a lot.
I got the camera out of the box, and I didn't know anything about the settings, so I took a picture, and it was just completely black, and I had no idea how to fix that.
Yeah,
I'm like,
or
I
it's-
think they
it's-
sent me a
when
bad
you're
camera.
First starting, it's either like a completely black photo or a completely white photo.
Yeah, I'm like, they sent me a bad camera. I don't know how to do this at all. So YouTube University. I spent that first week just grinding YouTube tutorials. How the heck do I use this camera? And I ended up shooting the wedding. Now, the pictures were not very good, but what I was
How
able
many
to.
photos do you think you had?
So I actually didn't shoot like a crazy amount. So I probably shot like 300 or 400. So not a lot for a wedding.
That's not bad.
And
I'm doing
but
like 2,000 photos, and I want to hang
Yeah,
myself
easy.
2,000 times.
Easy 2,000. Yeah.
Exactly. So since I didn't, and out of those, I didn't get very many good ones, but I was able to take those in photo.
You're really not bumping yourself
Listen,
up, right?
I had like 5 good photos.
all bad.
Let me tell you how much I was leaning on my Photoshop skills. So, but I'm like, well, I can make these look good in Photoshop, and
Yeah.
some of them I did. And then there was one, I don't know why I did this. I don't think they requested it, but it was like them. I think they were like at the altar, but they were like looking in each other's eyes, and I Photoshopped them, like cut out the background and made them like in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Oh,
And
sick.
so it looked like they were in Paris. It was color graded and everything.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it looked semi-real. But obviously they were getting married in a church in Mount Vernon, Indiana, and not Paris, France.
But if they ever like run into like a random average person in Mount Vernon, they could be like, "Yeah, I got
Hey.
married in Paris," and
They
they'd be
get like printed big on their wall.
So you basically get a camera, learn how to use it and stuff, and then that gets you interested to take like a college class on.
So right after school, I had no interest in going to college at all. And I'm
Sick.
like, I'm not going to college. This is stuff for losers. And especially because I'm like, well, I have a camera. You can just like figure it out. And so I started doing kind of the freelance photography thing where I would do senior pictures, I would do portraits, do that kind of thing, do a couple more weddings. And then I was doing that. And then I met my wife. And then once we got more serious, because I was doing the photo stuff on the side, but I didn't really have any like life plan, like what I'm going to do with my life.
Yeah.
And she's like, you need to figure your life out. So I'm like, okay. So this was a point where I needed to grow up. And so that I actually did enroll in college. And originally my plan was I was going to get a degree in something and then go to seminary after that, which is like Bible college, to be a pastor. And so I went to a year of Ivy Tech, and I took like intro to photography class. I took some design classes, and then ended up transferring over to USI. Went there like a year and a half, and then after that, I've dropped out.
Oh, sick, dude. College is for chumps.
So I went
anyways.
to college technically.
At USI or at Ivy Tech was your intro to photography teacher Tracy Robb.
Yes.
Love her.
Yeah.
So great.
Well,
nice.
it was pretty funny though, because by that point, because I had already been using my camera and actually making money with it for like 2.5 years, and this class was like, okay, here's the f-stop, here's the ISO. So I was basically like helping the class, like, oh, here's how you do this, and with Photoshop, Lightroom.
I did the exact same thing because I had also been shooting photos for like half my life by the time I took that class. So then I'm like, I already know all this stuff, so I kind of just became
I
an
can help
unofficial TA.
Yeah.
What does that? Hold on a second.
Bless you.
God
Thank
bless
you. What does that say about Ivy Tech? That's all I got. I just want to.
It's
I want to throw that out there.
Intro level class.
Yeah, it was
I wanna
for
throw it
beginner
out there.
Should be
photographer.
able to test out of some stuff. Look,
Can I get a free
turn the
trial?
camera on and I can take a photo.
Can I get a
because the thing
30-day
is,
free
there
trial?
was some people in that class that legitimately had no idea.
That's true. They bought their first camera and then they enrolled in the class. Now, I wish they had something where you're like, hey, can I show you what I know and can I skip a couple levels so I don't have to pay a couple $1,000?
No kidding. No. So the only reason I say that is because I went to Ivy Tech for my first semester before I went to U of E. And I stand by college is for chumps, by the way, guys. It really is.
Yeah.
But no, I took the little entry-level test or entry exam that you have to take.
Sure.
Because I didn't take ACTs or SATs, so I had to do this. And I was like, okay. So I take this test, and they were like, okay, here's everything based on your testing that you need to take. And I was like, all these entry-level classes. Algebra was one of them. Math is not my strong suit.
Okay.
But I get to Ivy Tech, and I take this Algebra 101 or Algebra 100 or whatever it is. And I was in there, and we were like covering how to do like long division. And I was like, guys...
This is not going well.
I'm better than this. Like, I know what's going on. How is this challenging? Like, I don't think they place people properly. I don't know.
I mean, you have to take like like a placement exam, which is what I did, and I basically ended up in a like the easiest math class possible, which was fine by me because I hate math. So
same.
I just wanted to get it done and move on.
The exact opposite happened to me. So when I went to USI, because I hadn't taken a math class since junior year of high school. So I had been out of school for like 2 years and hadn't taken it. So it's like 3.5 years since I'd taken any math class at all. I took the exam and they put me in AP calculus. And what was interesting is
far out, dude.
The first chapter, like the professor was going through it. She's like, yeah, for this first chapter, we're going to kind of just fly through it. You should have learned in your pre-calculus class. I'm like, ma'am, I didn't take pre-calculus. So I literally had to go home every day and go on a website called Khan Academy.
I love Khan.
Go on there, teach myself all the different things because I knew nothing. And I wanted to prove to myself I could do well in that class.
Yeah, dude.
So I got an A.
I did a 1.5 years of chemistry at U of E. Khan Academy got
there's good stuff on there.
Got me the grades I needed, dude. A lot of good professors on Khan Academy. That's an unofficial plug.
So how much did you know about YouTube? Got the job at One Line.
So as far as like creating content and that kind of thing?
Yeah, or like running pages.
So when I was, because my job before that, I had 2 jobs actually. I was working at Mike's Car Wash part-time, and then I was working an internship at my wife's church with the youth group doing videos and stuff like that. So that's where I jumped on. Actually, before YouTube videos, I watched these guys called the Pro Church Tools podcast, which is all about running social media accounts. So I binged all their stuff for like 1.5 years straight.
At 2 times speed.
Well, I was talking to my wife about this. I'm like, if I listen to stuff for 1.5 years on 2 times speed, that's 3 years worth of knowledge in 1.5 years.
Dude, you're not selling this to me. Like when I edit a podcast at 1.25, I literally like the hairs on my. It's almost like nails on a chalkboard. Like I just get antsy.
Hey,
I can feel my heart rate going up.
Small increments, just a little bit faster next time. I bet you can do it.
No, that's interesting. So the Pro Tools Life, right?
Yeah, Pro Church Tools.
Or Pro Church Tools. And those are the guys that kind of like walked you through basically how to like run a channel.
Yeah, so social media accounts. And then once we started creating Bible studies on YouTube, I wanted to figure out how to actually make YouTube content. So most of the things that I know are because I've watched them on YouTube, and minus like the business stuff. I read a lot of books, but did that. And then once I got the job at One Life, most of my job was, because I was actually a graphic designer on staff at first, and most of my job was creating graphics, creating like some bumper videos, which are like these short videos before the sermons. So not a whole lot of YouTube stuff. And where the kind of turning point is we had a guest speaker come in, and came in, did the sermon, and on YouTube we posted it, and it got 60 views, which is not bad, but it was 60 views on the live stream. But I'm like, this content's like really good, and the short form was becoming a thing. So I took those clips and cut them into like 9 different parts out of that sermon, and I actually posted them on TikTok, and just not really thinking about it. So I posted all 9 of them over the course of like a week and a half, and it slowly started getting like a whole lot of views. Because I think I added it up after all of them were posted and got all the views. I think just from that one sermon, we got like 800,000 views. which is much more than 60.
What does that say about? I'm all about like analyzing things today. By the way, what does that say about the human race? Our attention span is
It's very short.
It is shit right now. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's not looking good for us as a species. Like if your life depended on it, could you watch an hour-long video and retain that information at one-time speed? You know what I mean? Like as a human species, I'm concerned for your people,
Hey,
Drew.
no, me, yes, I can, but my friends,
No.
like we'll be going through, like they'll be on TikTok. You have 2 seconds to catch their attention if they
Or they're out.
are gonna watch the video.
Well, I love the TikTok videos that have multiple videos, like one on the top, and
Yeah.
you're watching Joe Rogan, but then also Subway
Subway
Surfers
Surfer.
or Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
I can't stand it, dude. I can't. It makes my skin. I hate
those videos will get me though. Like,
You're like, I'm just, or like
Yeah.
someone's like cutting cake in a really satisfying way.
yeah,
And
I
it's
will
like-
watch the entire thing if it's like a story time
See?
and there's like Subway Surfer or like Minecraft on the bottom.
They've hacked your brain. They know.
I'm so disappointed.
They know what you want.
But I will also sit down and watch like an hour long whatever.
Good for
at
you,
normal
dude. Good for
speed.
you. I'm so fucking proud of you, dude. You make me fucking proud,
You're
and
just going
also
places.
you disappoint me.
At the same time.
Have you seen
expected.
that? Have you seen that? Like Google or Android phones now have like auto translator to your ear.
That's
Oh,
tight.
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
I could call you and be speaking in Spanish,
It's
and
so
you'll
cool.
hear it in English, and then you talk back in English,
Yeah.
and it'll play in Spanish in my ear.
Yeah, and do they have the earbud yet? They're doing a live earbud too.
I don't know.
So they're doing the Google's been working on the same technology, but an earbud that you can like take with you. So you fly to Tokyo and you land in Tokyo and you pop your little earbud in, and you can just go talk to a stranger.
That would be really
And
cool.
if they have the earbud, they also hear what you're saying, and it's live
Wow.
translating in real time
Yeah.
in your ear. It's freaking
But
tight.
I
dude.
bring that up as in like
Yeah.
like Tower of Babel.
Oh.
And then like one, we're getting close to that like universal language, but then we're sending rockets into space, into the heavens.
Ah,
like, do you think
something's
we'll
bad's
see
gonna
some
happen.
like repercussion from that?
Dude, hey,
It's happening.
are you with Mars or no? You out?
I would be interested.
You with
I
it?
want to see it.
You with it? He's with it, dude.
Yeah.
He's in.
I'm not.
Have you seen a lot of?
Drew's not going.
First time you've ever said you're not with Mars.
Hashtag not going to Mars.
You're not with Mars?
I mean,
I stand with Mars.
give it a few years.
Hashtag Mars
Give it
matters.
some like trial and error, and then maybe
Trial
I'll
and
go.
Have you
No, I'm not
seen-
saying would you go.
Yeah,
but,
do you
like,
support
are you
it?
are you support?
Oh,
in
sure.
support
Other
of-
people can do whatever
Okay.
whatever
Okay.
they want.
I dig that.
Have you seen the photos of space though, and how what they actually look like before they like color grade them?
No.
No, I haven't.
No.
should
Can
look
you
it up.
Google that? I'm extremely curious. I do know that pictures that were taken on the moon with a professional lens of some nature, when they took them, it was like overwhelmingly underwhelming.
Really?
It was just like the
This
black
is garbage.
The black was so black.
Yeah.
And then the moon was just so white, and you're like, this is not what I
You
expected.
get a better camera.
Yeah. Is this what we're looking at?
Yeah, so that's like what the actual photo looks like, and then they go in and they
like, color
add
it
the
themselves?
Color, yeah.
I mean, that's not.
This is all
based
lie.
on like the gases and stuff.
Sure.
That's not shocking to me.
Yeah, that makes
Oh
a
my
lot of
goodness.
sense. No, but the photos they took on the moon were like, I mean, they were super sharp.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very, very
Yeah,
clean.
you can even see the string and the.
But who is the guy that? What was his name?
You see the rafters.
Stanley Kubrick. Yeah, shout out to Stanley Kubrick, dude. Do you guys get that joke?
That's not the guy that
missed that
they.
one.
That filmed the moon landing.
okay. I figured
Stanley
that's where you were
Kubrick.
going. I didn't know
There
the
we go.
names.
There we go. You guys get it. You're a little young,
You
but
know
you
the
got
The
it.
moon landing and The Shining, and
Yeah, dude.
All
He's
of
on.
them.
He's on top of it.
So like you basically short form content, you take the long form, you make it short. That's what a lot of people are doing
Yeah.
to get views. We're seeing good progress with that too. So basically you do
Yes.
that and the church realizes that like there's a better way to get content out there.
Yeah. So I was kind of leading the charge there, where I'm like, this is something I feel like I'm good at and I'm passionate about, and then also it's just getting completely outsized returns on it. So that was kind of the start of our YouTube journey, where we were working up to actually making, we call it contextualized content to the YouTube platform, which means that it's specifically for YouTube.
So are you at the church 5 days a week, 7 days? Well, 6 days a week?
5 days a week.
That's a lot of Jesus.
Yeah, so we have Friday and Saturday off.
That's a lot of Jesus. Do
Yes.
you ever get tired? You know, just like hanging around with God all the time? Is it just like wearing
No.
you down?
Very
That's a
refreshing,
lot, man.
actually.
Well, it's good, man. Like, I remember, so whenever I first started getting into religion, I was actually a part of Young Life for a little bit. Kind of like, I don't know, I was very skeptical as a child, but like it kind of put out culty vibes. So that's kind of like what, like, as my young adulthood took me away from religion. But short of that, though, I really do dig religion, just in general. I think it's a really great, and people get mad when I say that it implies good life morals.
Yeah.
And then, like, the big heads, like the Bible thumping folks, they'll be like, it's not about morals. And I'm like, okay, but I'm telling you what I get out of it. You know what I mean? So that's my favorite thing about
so one of
religion.
the things that I really like about One Life is this is almost a church for skeptics.
Nice.
So this is
Nice.
where we have totally like your questions are, if you have questions, that's a good thing. And we're going to hear you out and we're going to dialogue with you. Like, we're not going to say, hey, we have all the answers.
Yeah.
And I mean, even just in the Christian world, there are so many different perspectives, so many on individual text, overall big pictures.
Galore.
Oh, yes. But and that's why, like, the people I work with, they come from a bunch of different denominations, and we all come under this place where, so one, we're for skeptics, but one of the things that one of our values is we believe in intellectual integrity. So one of the way
Explain that a little bit.
So the way we say it is you can bring your brain to church. We believe you can bring your brain to church.
Oh, okay.
So because I feel like a lot of people, when they think of church, it's like, okay, you have the real world over here, and then you have church over here. You have religion.
A burning bush talking to
Exactly. So, but so like our pastor, he does a really good job of going and looking at scientists, going and looking at authorities, and showing the historical evidence behind the stuff that we're looking at. So it's not like, well, why should you believe this? Well, because the Bible says so. Like, we're not going to say you should believe it just because the Bible says so.
Okay, respect to that, dude.
Yeah, so that's why I've really liked being here, because it makes it real to me, and I feel like I can share with people, like, this is reasons why I actually believe it's real.
Where is One Life at?
So we have actually 3 campuses. The one that is kind of the headquarters where I work at is the East Campus, right off of Green River, kind of across from the Eastland Mall, right by Tri-State Fitness.
Okay.
It's really close to Hobby Lobby as well.
I think I've seen it.
And then there's one on the west side, right off the Lloyd. Sometimes if you're driving...
It's like Fulton and the Lloyd.
Yeah. So you can see it like over the wall on the Lloyd. That's our west side campus.
I know that one. That's where I'm seeing
That's
it.
a non-denominational.
Yes, we're non-denominational.
All right, what do you think about Catholics, dude?
Well, I work with some former Catholics,
Sick.
And I'm sure there's some Catholics that go to church here.
Sick, dude. Well, because I started in Catholicism and then moved to Christianity, and then I just like washed my hands of it. I was like, this.
So what drove you away?
It's getting weird. It was like the culty stuff and like there's a lot
Were
of
they handling snakes?
No, I didn't do any poltergeist stuff.
Okay.
And it's not poltergeist. Polygamy? No.
That's Mormons.
Pentecostal. Yeah, I didn't do any.
Yeah. So speaking in tongues, healing people.
I'm not like a holy roller or anything.
Sure.
I've never seen any of that stuff. But I've heard some crazy stories about it.
Yeah.
But it's like money driven. All the churches that I had attended to. And then what kept me away from Catholicism was right before I left for Afghanistan, I had a rosary that was gifted to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it to this church I had never been to before. I was like, hey, I'm about to leave for Afghanistan in a really bad spot. Can I talk to the priest and have him bless this rosary or do whatever?
Yeah.
And the first question they had for me was, are you a part of the congregation?
Yeah.
And I was like, no. But did you hear? Like, I'm getting ready to deploy.
Like, can you help a brother out here?
And they wouldn't. They wouldn't. Yeah. They were like, you can't talk to the priest if you're not part of the.
Yeah.
And like, what am I going to wake him up from a nap? It's like he doesn't know who you are. He's like, no,
So you're not
get
a part
out
of the
here.
church. You can't be here.
They're like, yeah, you don't give us your money.
Yeah.
Is what it felt like.
Sure, totally.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think some
all
churches,
religions are that way. It's not just Christianity.
Well, and I think some churches are like that, where it is because, like, if you go to a Catholic mass, even for a wedding or something, and you aren't a member of the church, like, you got to do the X, so you can't receive communion.
They're strange about it.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Jesus himself and the churches that I think are doing it right, they are. Like, they're open to anyone, where they're not going to, regardless of your background or even your doubts or beliefs or your beliefs now, they are going to welcome you in. And they're like, hey, look, we are sinners in the same way that you are, and we are just trying to point you to the way.
Oh, yeah, man. So your people are good, man. You're welcome in anytime, dude.
Hey, we'll have you. You can join us on One Life.
You don't want to cover it? Okay.
When you're doing the YouTube page management stuff, and you're talking about breaking up into short form content, I noticed in a lot of the posts you have the timestamps added.
On the short forms?
Yeah, well, even on the long form of like different spots.
Oh,
of, like,
yeah,
bookmarks
yeah.
Or what? I think that's
Those
what
are
call
called
them.
chapters.
Chapters.
Yeah. So chapters, I think it's really good for long form content as well.
Mhm.
So people can kind of skim through the podcast and then
Okay.
go to the. So it's a good and a bad thing because sometimes people will only skip to the parts that they want.
Yep.
But if they find the parts that they want and then they really like it, then they're going to continue to come back to your channel.
Is this like stuff you're finding and you're bringing to the table or the meetings to like, hey, we should add these?
Yeah. So luckily, so our creative team is pretty small, and actually, right of the second is just me. So basically, they're like, hey, we want to leverage YouTube to reach the next generation and to reach a lot of people. So basically, you have full creative control. Do what you think is best. So there's a really good book if you're wanting to grow on YouTube called The YouTube Formula by Daryl Eves.
Okay.
Mr. Beast, which I'm sure you guys might know who Mr. Beast is.
No, what's that?
Mr. Beast?
I don't know what's going on.
So Mr. Beast, he's
I'm only joking.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was making sure.
He's got like 90 million subscribers.
Yeah, he's got just on one channel he's got over 100 million. So he said Daryl Eves is one of the people on the planet, one of like 5 people on the planet that knows YouTube as well as Mr. Beast. And you guys have heard of the 10,000 hour rule?
Yeah.
So the 10,000 hour rule says that to become a world class at something, you need 10,000 hours of deliberate practice.
Oh, no.
I just bought Miss.
Hello.
That was a good video.
Damn, that was a
53
banger, dude.
million video views in the first day. So he 10,000 hours to become world class at something, and he started YouTube when he was 13. He said since then he's put 50,000 hours into learning YouTube.
Okay.
So he is like just been hyper obsessed with it for the last 13 years, and that's why he turned down a $1 billion offer to buy all his companies, all his YouTube channels.
What other
hell?
books do you like? You recommended a few to us in our DMs, but what are you think some of your favorites from this year?
Oh, okay, so 2 definitely of my favorites if we're going the business route is there's a guy named Alex Hormozy.
Okay.
And he's jumped on the social media game in the last probably 2 years really heavily. And if you're wanting to make more money and if you're selling something specifically, the first book is called $100 Million Offers. The subtitle is Making Offers So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No. So that's basically how to craft an offer, like something you're offering someone in such a way where they give you a lot of money for it.
Mhm.
And then the second book, $100 Million Leads, is how to get customers, essentially, how to get people to know about your stuff and then ultimately buy it. Those have been top 2.
What about, do you
Sick.
do like any self-help motivation?
Yeah.
books too?
So actually, probably one of my favorite books all time is called Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Good one.
And that started kind of my whole self-improvement journey and everything, getting into business, getting into YouTube, because that's only been probably read that 2 years ago. And shout out to Audible because I actually had the physical book I bought the book because I heard it was really good, and it sat on my bookshelf for like 7 months, and I read 1 page of it and then never touched it. But then I downloaded Audible, bought the book, and then got through it in like a day and a half. And so that got me into business, into working out, into all the self-improvement stuff.
What is the infatuation with our people? And by people, I don't mean white people. I mean the human species with Audible books. I don't understand.
Because you can
Easier
consume
to
them anywhere.
digest.
It's not, though. Okay, so like I'm a very tangible gentleman.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I kind of like nice things in hand.
Yeah.
And we didn't joke. Well, maybe we did, but we talked a little bit about this with Tony Tripp, who does NFTs.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of like tangible items. Like if I'm gonna buy something, like these are some of my favorite books here that I've read recently, or in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Anyways. But anyway, I'm just more of a book in hand guy.
Totally.
I don't know why. I want to be able to stop and like highlighter it.
No, so totally. So
and then like make a note or a scribble.
So
or,
I think there can be 2 sides to it. So I will actually, if I'm trying out a book for the first time, I'll listen to an Audible, because if I'm up in the morning early, or if I'm working out, or if I'm driving, I can listen to it. But books that I'm really into, I will get the Kindle copy, and then I will also get the physical copy. So like $100 Million Offers, I've listened to on audio probably 2 times. I've read the Kindle version, and then taken a whole bunch of notes on everything. So it's going through it multiple times.
That's what I get, the audio book, and if I really like it, I get the physical book, and I'll go through and mark it up after.
Yeah.
I wonder what the average salary of someone is that reads all these books. You know what I mean?
Well, I think I heard a statistic. It's like the average CEO reads I think it was like 35 books a year, and then the average American just working any job reads maybe 1 book a year.
No, I'm talking about like the guys that on the audiobooks.
Oh, okay.
Like that's an interesting fact, though. It does make sense, but no, the guys that actually like are reading all these books
yes,
for like Audible. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
what are they making?
It depends what you're reading, because there's a lot of people that just read like fiction all day.
Yeah,
and then I mean, you probably it's just to relax, just like watching TV.
Yeah,
I get it.
I mean, I think they're probably making a decent amount because Audible is such a big thing now, and it's essentially voice acting. And
I mean, you're not wrong, because there is like some expressions and stuff they have to give, and exclamations and stuff like that.
Yeah, some of them are. Because the narrator of it, that can kind of make or break a book.
You can always sample.
Yes, but I do like the feature where you can return the book if you hate it.
Yeah. I think we made that claim on whose episode? Yeah, and then it got a little spicy there. I don't think we got any hate mail from Audible about it, but I don't think they're pumped about it either.
Well, because it used to be able to do it from the app, but they've moved it to the website now, so you have to kind of find it to return it. Because a bunch of people were returning after they totally read a book. They're like, I didn't like that after I finished it.
Give me my credits back.
Yeah,
I really liked Genghis Khan and the Making of the Modern World. That was a good one.
Oh, so what kind of books do you read?
Very boring books.
Okay.
Like I just finished a textbook on Napoleon that was like 30 hours long.
Okay.
Nerdiest shit you've ever said.
I listened to like a 26-hour long one on Steve Jobs and Elon.
Okay, so
I also did like Sarah Guru, Inner Engineering, Wim Hof, David Goggins, both his books.
Yep.
Zachary Ward.
He's just listing off a lot of authors.
Just a bunch of random names.
He's listing off a bunch of authors that are like all about not quitting, because Thomas is a quitter.
You a quitter, Thomas?
I finished all my audiobooks.
Hey.
No, but we both dig into the that's kind of like one of the theses of this show is like what or thesis is, I don't know the right word. Thesi?
I was going to say that.
Thesiums. Whatever that word is, plural for thesis. One of the theses that about the show is like overcoming and kind of like bearing straight, you know, like staying the path. And
totally.
Are you looking at
thesis? Theses. Final answer. Lock it in.
Can I get a how to say?
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Como se dice?
I believe it's like feces, but with a th.
So it's like feces with a th. But that's kind of like what we do here. Yeah. We like to find out what makes people tick, what keeps their legs moving when times get hard and stuff like that.
Because I mean, you guys have been doing how many episodes now?
154 is today, I think. No, 155.
Yeah, because the statistic is that 90% of podcasters don't upload to more than one episode, and then the remaining 10, they never get past episode 20. So you guys sticking with it for 160 episodes, like that takes and showing up every week.
Well, there's been plenty of episodes that got cut too.
Totally.
Also, I don't know what that says about us that we've had the little success that we've had and we continue to do it.
Well, here's the thing,
think we just hate ourselves.
So Mr. Beast, he uploaded, I think, so it was like 4 years of doing it consistently before he hit 1,000 subscribers. Because he was just like this really awkward kid, like sophomore in high school, recording videos in his bedroom. But if you look at most of these people, they grind for 7 years, and then in that last year, they become the overnight success.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be us. So just buckle up.
There's a great quote that Alex Mosey says. He said, "If I do not quit, then I cannot lose."
Hey, dude, you fucking hear that? Don't you quit on me?
Don't quit, Thomas.
Yeah, don't plan on it.
Okay, see.
I'll fight you.
That's half the battle. Keep showing up.
I'll fight you in the front yard, dude. I swear to God.
He's gonna do it,
dude. So you've got a lot of this multimedia experience. Yeah. You're big into the big guns upstairs. Do you have like a nickname for God or like Jesus or anything? Or do you?
I don't think
like
so.
a lot of people say like big guns or like man
I've never
upstairs.
Heard
yeah, you've never heard that?
No, never heard big
Do
guns.
you always pray to Jesus, or do you pray to Jesus sometimes and God the other times?
I don't know. I mean, you could talk to both. I mean, traditionally, you pray to God the Father in the name of Jesus.
You pray to God,
inspired by the Holy Spirit. You got the trio. It gets technical.
Dude, it is. It's like fucking. That's a lot to take in.
Talk to Jesus.
That's a lot to take in.
Talk to Jesus, Brian.
Do you have a favorite I'm like heavily on the religion part of this today, so I
Yeah.
apologize in
No,
advance.
dude.
I'm interested in religion in a lot of different ways.
Do you have a favorite book?
I was going to ask,
Of
do you
the
have a
Bible?
favorite- Yeah, what's your favorite book?
Okay.
You look like a Psalms guy.
Yep. No. So actually, I did listen to the Bible all the way through this last year for the first time.
Oh, sick.
Just on the Bible app, going through in a year, like you read a chapter or two a day.
I just did the Quran, so
Yeah. So
I'm joking.
because you've gone through the Quran what 3 times now?
Multiple times.
Okay, yeah. Because I thought I'm like, oh wow, that's because I didn't know how long the Quran was either.
Yeah.
Because I think it has like 78,000 words.
One
or
thing
something.
I really like about the Quran on like these apps is like it's free, and then like there's like so many different versions of the Bible that they're all like $5-6, which isn't
Really?
anything really, but like you go on there and I guarantee you there's like a
Dude,
free.
you got to
Quran
pay for the
version.
Lord.
Oh,
bro.
are you listening on like Audible or something?
Yeah. I paid for a version of the Quran on Audible.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, they have the Bible app by a company or a church called Life Church, which it's downloaded like by billions of people, and so it's got a bunch of, and it's audio Bible too. So it's got all the Bible, it's got different translations, different narrators, all that totally for free.
That is sick.
That's
Where's
pretty
that
cool.
Just download, just Google or on your app store, just type in Bible, and it's probably the first one that comes up.
at? Oh, sick, dude. So you didn't answer. What's your favorite book?
I don't
Do you
know.
have one?
I don't know if I specifically have. I probably have like favorite verses, but maybe the Book of John. That's one of the first ones in the
Sick,
New
dude.
Testament.
Sick.
But there, I mean, going all the way through the Old Testament, all the way to Revelation, there's some weird stuff in there.
Dude, Old Testament, shaky at best.
Well,
Shaky at best.
I mean, I've been a Christian for a while, and I'll read some of this stuff, and I'm like, I can see how people have issues with this.
yeah, dude. What like they in the Old Testament, they're like, tell your wife to shut up. Basically, they're like, fucking just quit talking.
No, but
The men are speaking.
don't know
Please
if that's
stop.
a direct
No, I'm
quote.
joking. I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
joking.
But there's some instances that like
I'm so sorry. I'm
No.
not trying to offend
No,
anybody.
I'm not
there's
offended.
instances that are in like the Old Testament that like the Islamic community doesn't like.
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Like they believe that like the prophets of God did no real wrong. So like in the Old Testament, when David like has an affair and like pulls the army back, they don't believe.
So
that.
they don't believe Bathsheba happened or anything like that.
Bathsheba was that
He had the while he sent the husband away.
Yeah, so they don't believe that he pulled the army
Oh.
line back and stuff like
Interesting.
that for her husband.
See, I
to
don't know a
die.
whole lot about Islam, so I was trying to do some.
It's interesting. I like it because it's like it's a lot like Christianity.
So I'm curious.
There's just
So
some
I'm curious because I was talking to my wife
differences.
about this. So it seems like you got some Bible knowledge. It seems like you were kind of in that realm for a while.
Yeah.
So what took you from there to where you are now?
I always had a hard time with like so. There's the sacrifice, Jesus dying on the cross.
Yeah.
And then he rises. So is that like a real sacrifice? If he, 3 days later he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a testament to
But
the
also,
power.
what separates Jesus from Adam or
He
Eve?
was sinless.
Yeah.
he took on.
But besides that, what is it?
But other than that, Joker, what else you got?
No, but they
no.
believe that. Like,
No, but like, so he was sinless, and then like, if I'm not mistaken, like his whole.
Muslims don't believe that Jesus died on the cross. They believe that he ascended to heaven.
Yeah, he didn't
before
actually
the
die.
cross.
Yeah.
But I always believe in like praying to like God the Creator, the one God,
Yeah.
and like I have a problem with the like aspect of the Trinity making sense, and then
Mhm.
like the Nicene Court, and I was a huge fan of Paul, loved Paul,
Sure.
and like I think he had a ton of knowledge and stuff, but they kind of believe that like he Gentiled it up. He like kind of switched the writing up
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit to appeal to like the Greek
Theologians.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like what was around in that time. But like I really like aspects of like they're just like it's more old school than like what we have now.
Yeah.
Where it's like people are more accepting of things that might not be, necessarily the straightest, or like pig's really good, but it's not good for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, pig is delicious, bro. And I'm telling, I say this gently and very, very. I'm treading very softly here. They don't know what they're missing, dude.
But I really like
Fucking
the
bacon
washing.
is the
Like
Yeah.
if you're big on like Old
greatest. Oh,
Testament
sure.
and like the way that the priest went into like the holies of holies
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like washing and maintaining that
Yeah, it was
aspect.
very.
The submission, like the actually like getting down on your face. I mean, Catholics kind of do that to a
with
degree.
the pew, do you dabble in the Quran, or do you know much about it?
So I don't know a whole lot about the Quran, but so one of the things, like I said, with our church is we believe in intellectual integrity that you can bring your brain to church.
Yeah.
So one of the series that we just went through, actually, one of the guys that goes to our church is he's the president of the seminary here in town, and he wrote a book called Core Facts, and it's like an acronym, and each one of them stands for something. And so when he's talking about, because you would say you believe in God.
Hmm.
So when he's talking about, okay, well, what God do you believe in then?
Yeah.
So kind of where his basis starts is the historical evidence for the resurrection. And so that would be, because not everyone knows this, but most scholars now would say that Jesus of Nazareth historically is like 100% for sure. It's like if you believe in Abraham Lincoln, historically you should believe in Jesus of Nazareth.
That checks out.
Yeah, so that, but then, and it was also documented that he was crucified, and then his followers, like the explosion of the church after that, and then the fact that they were willing to die for that.
Well, the church was heavily underground the first like 20, 30 years.
Yes. But because in Jesus, and it was also weird for them because they thought this Jewish king was supposed to come and overthrow Rome, but really what he did is he came and sacrificed himself. So they kind of freaked out, and they went into hiding. But then after that, throughout their lives, the people like in their inner circle, they died for their faith. And there's a quote the guy says. He said, "Liars make bad martyrs." So if these guys knew that Jesus didn't actually raise from the dead, there was no way that they were going to die for it.
That's I've never heard that quote before.
Yeah, so I mean,
liars make a bad martyr.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
this guy that goes to our church wrote this book, Core Facts, and just going through the existence of God and then existence or the case for the resurrection, essentially.
Have you gone through there's a book called The Five Gospels, but they go through, it's a bunch of New Testament scholars, and they go through and they if you get a Bible nowadays in the New Testament, what Jesus said is in red.
Sure.
And they go through and they color grade it to it's red for he actually said it, pink for this lines up, he might have actually said it.
Correct.
Purple with it's kind of far-fetched. And then black is he probably didn't say this.
Yo, odds are my man J-Dog
Well,
didn't
it was
say
interesting.
this.
So yeah, the guy, because he did like a presentation at one of the conferences we had, and he went not only what the things that Jesus said, but then also like the facts that the disciples died martyrs' deaths. So they have different grades of it. It's like, okay, like 100% certain or as certain as you can be, and then it goes down to very certain.
Was it John that was crucified upside down?
That was Peter. John, I think he was, or there's two different Johns, but one was like boiled in water, but then he survived, and then he got sent to this island and then lived the rest of his days.
That is a resilient MF.
That wasn't a death of the week that week.
Rough, that guy that fell out of the window while Paul was preaching and Paul brought him back to life.
Paul was preaching a long time, so long that the dude fell asleep and fell out the window like 2 stories.
And lived?
He died, and then got Paul raised him from the dead.
Oh, jeez, dude.
Great time. So, I mean, so I don't know a whole lot about Islam, but that's kind of just my personal experience with, because when I became
it all. I mean, if you think about it, Judaism's really just the Old Testament. They're probably going to hate that. And then, Christians, you have the Old Testament and the New Testament. And then Muslims have the Quran, and then they have Hadith, which is just like Paul, in his all his preaching and sayings. Hadith is sayings and sermons that he gave that are recorded from person to person.
What are the books called that didn't make it into the Bible?
The
Apotheses?
I don't know
it'd be
exact
the
word.
Gospel of Thomas, and there's
and
the Barnabas, not Barnabas.
Do you know much about those?
So I don't know a whole lot. I know that so the Catholics have other books outside of the Bible, and there's some because basically what happened is they got together as a group, and some that didn't match up with the teaching. So the Council of Nicaea, where if certain teachings didn't match up, where it's like all these people say yes, this for sure happened, and then you're outside of that, they're like, okay, that's not actually canon,
right? Like the Book of Enoch.
Yes,
Apocrypha.
I knew it was some kind of word like that.
Yeah, and it's the Book of Jesus Christ, the Gospel of Thomas, the infancy Gospel of Thomas,
the infancy gospel.
The Book of Enoch. There's a bunch, but I didn't know if you knew much about
So I haven't looked too much into that. But for me, kind of my personal relationship, that's where it kind of falls in. Not only my personal experience, but then the historical evidence for Jesus, the case for the resurrection, and the fact that Jesus said in John 14:6, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me."
Which would be the same of any prophet of their time.
Right. And the only reason I brought up, sorry, not the Apocrypha, I just wanted to bring that up because isn't there, we were talking about, Tom, you said something and it made,
Hadith?
no, it
Bless
was
you.
like, not
Translation?
lies. No, there's a reason those books didn't make the Bible, though.
The Council of Nicaea?
It's not like they were lies, those books, but there's like something about the books that...
Yeah, so I mean, some of them it was literally like they were adding stuff to it, or where they would call it heresy, where it's going against what actually happened.
I think.
So if there's like 10 of us that were all there, and then we have all the same account, and then someone has a different account and they're trying to slip that in there, they're like, hey, look, that doesn't line up with the other 10, so that's not going into the final book.
Right.
So basically, this says they're not of divine inspiration, are no part of the canon of the Scripture, and therefore are of no authority in the Church of God, nor to be any otherwise approved or made use of than other human writings.
So they're more like observations that are like subjective observations than the accepted word of God.
Yeah. So Christians would believe that the Bible, as it is God speaking through man. So these other ones that are outside of the canon, we don't believe that is God. He didn't put that into the kind of product of the
they
Bible.
essentially weren't written by a prophet of God.
And I hadn't heard the word of canon until I started reading Chaos by
You know the one.
shitballs, man. It's the book about the serial killer in the 60s.
Oh,
Manson.
Charles Manson.
Charles Manson.
Tom
Yeah.
O'Neill.
Tom O'Neill. Tom O'Neill is a phenomenal writer,
Okay.
but he has a heavy Christian background. You can tell just in his writing because he uses references like the canon, and he uses it in an off-shelf kind of way in a random sentence and makes no other biblical reference. But then, like, I had to stop what I was doing, highlight it.
What's the canon?
I had to put a Post-it note on it, and then I went to Google and I was like, what the hell is of the canon?
Yeah.
And then it turns out he was making like a biblical reference,
I
and
see.
in the sentence, the way he was using it was basically this is like a subjective observation and not a objective, truthful fact.
Yeah. So, like, for Harry Potter,
yeah.
what J.K. Rowling wrote was canon, and then fan fiction would be outside of canon because that didn't come from the source.
Yeah. So that was kind of the way he used it. It was just funny that we started talking about like liars don't make good martyrs, and I had the canon.
A book that kind of got me into it was there was a book called Secrets of Divine Love.
Okay.
And it's written by a female that's Islamic, but then like she says in her intro, like, this is for people that just believe in like the divine.
Sure.
It's not written just to be Islamic or Christian.
Yeah.
It's like that middle of the line, kind of like the Book of Joy with the Dalai Lama and the Archbishop.
Yeah, and this is...
Well, I think it's appealing to a lot of people now because I think some people either sense that there is something outside of our kind of physical reality. They don't know what it is, but they have a drive towards it, or they feel like inside of themselves there's something missing, and they have that tug towards the divine, but they don't know exactly what it is, but they're interested.
Speaking of divine, do you believe in divine intervention?
Divine? Oh, what do you mean by divine intervention? I think it can happen.
Excuse me, I
Like,
just lost part of my lung. No.
God divinely intervenes?
No, yeah. So, like, something is about to happen, or something was about to not happen, and then there's intervention, divine intervention. Do you believe in anything like that?
100%.
You do?
Yep. The story of Abraham and Isaac. Are you familiar with the Abraham and Isaac story?
Oh, dude, it's been decades.
Okay, yeah. So basically, Abraham, which is the prophet of God, so he took him out, and Isaac was basically the son that he promised Abraham, and he took him
After
up on.
they couldn't have kids for like
They were 100 years old.
Is this the one he told him to kill?
Yes, and then as he was doing it, God divinely intervened and said, "No, I will provide," because the mountain is called "He will provide." Or that's the English translation. But and interestingly enough, people believe that the same hill that he was almost killed on is the same one that Jesus was crucified on.
Sick.
So God was showing, hey, you don't have to sacrifice your son because I'm going to sacrifice my son on your behalf.
There was
Hell
a ram
yeah.
in the bush.
That's tight. Yeah, then the bush.
Like a ram in the thicket.
Dude, I think it's interesting. Have you ever had like a close call, like you almost like cut your toe off or something?
Okay, so if we have time for it, I do have a murderer story.
What's the timestamp? What are we at?
We're good.
Okay.
Where are we at? What's our timestamp?
We're at about an hour.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll tell you I'll kind of make it quick.
Yeah, give me the gist.
The gist. So this was the time when I picked up a murderer, and I believe that God protected me.
You just picked him up?
Yeah. There's my weightlifting regime. No. So this was when I was still working at Mike's Car Wash.
Okay.
And I got off work about midnight. So the only thing that's open to eat after midnight is Taco Bell.
Trash.
Yes, exactly. So
Garbage food.
Look, I was hungry, so I went through Taco Bell through the Taco Bell drive-through, and then after I did, these two individuals were right there, and I still had my window down, and they're like, "Hey, we just got kicked out of our apartment. Like the landlord changed the locks. We're locked out. Can you give us a ride to a hotel?" And I'm like, well, I don't have anything else to do tonight. So me trying to be the good Samaritan, I am like, okay, let's give them a ride. So we ended up going to, for different reasons, 3 different hotels, because the first one was under construction. That didn't work. The second one, they also, which this should have been a red flag, they told me they didn't have an ID with them. So I probably shouldn't have let them in the car at that point. But so they were going to get the hotel under my name. And the second one, I wasn't 21 yet, so they wouldn't give me a hotel room, especially if I wasn't staying there. And the third one, which ironically ended up being, like, you can see it from the Taco Bell where we started. Yeah. And this was like an hour into the process because we were like looking for hotels. And finally we get there, they're shut down for the night, like they're updating their servers. So we're just sitting there for like 30 minutes. And so it's a guy and a girl. And the weird thing about the girl is she's kind of limping the whole time.
Ooh, not a good sign.
And another red flag. I didn't ask why this was. I didn't ask why she was limping. They told me that a couple weeks back she had got shot in the leg from point blank with a hollow point round. Ooh. I'm like, that'll make you limp, if anything.
Red flag number 12 in this story?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So we're hanging out for like...
Does she run a YouTube channel by any chance?
Yeah, that's how I got my start.
Do you remember the... Never mind.
Well, all right. This is the death of the week, so stay tuned. Yeah. So finally, after all this was like 1:30 in the morning, drop them off, go home, don't really think anything of it, and then like a week and a half later, I'm taking a nap, and I wake up to a voicemail from the EPD, and they say... this is Detective so-and-so from the EPD. We're looking for... you need to call us back today or we're going to come to your house or your workplace. I'm like, oh, I should probably call them back. That doesn't seem good.
High priority.
Yeah. So I call them back and they're like, do you know why we're calling? And I'm like...
You're like,
no.
I'm at church sanctuary.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I'm like, no. They're like, were you at the Howard Johnson on this day? I'm like, yeah. They're like, what's... Since the hotel that we ended up taking him to,
okay.
The final one. And so took him to that, and he's like, do you know what happened? I'm like, no. So I walked him through all the way from Taco Bell to how it happened, with all red flags included. And he said later that night, so the guy's name was, and the lady's name was...
Those will get beeped probably.
Yes. And then they gave me fake names, ironically. But so the guy had in the hotel room shot the girl in the back of the head, and then the next day wrapped her body up in a bunch of blankets and had someone come to the hotel in a van, threw her body in the van, and then went to an abandoned house and dropped her body off. And then how he actually got found was he was super hyped up on this too. And he was actually shooting at cars that were passing by, and he was also telling all his friends that he killed his fiance.
Hold on, just let's
see. That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Let's slow down. Let's slow down.
He didn't go off the grid. He went very on the grid.
Let's slow down, Jimmy.
It all happened so fast.
Jimmy.
It happened at 2 times.
Jimmy,
it did.
You don't bring this kind of sauce. In the last 3 minutes. Of the podcast. Okay.
Oh no, I broke my phone.
Heads up, dude. Just for future interviews.
This is a clip.
Lead with that. Secondly, I'm operating on a very short bandwidth, so I want to make sure I'm following the story.
Yeah.
100%.
It's a great story.
The guy, gimpy girl, you take them around.
Yep.
You end up at said location. Drop them off. They get a room, is what it sounded like to me.
I walked them up.
Okay. Because you're a gentleman.
I'm a gentleman.
Homegirl, that gimpy gal, died?
Yes, she got shot in the back of the head.
That day?
That night, yes. And he had the gun with him, obviously, because...
Did you know he had...
I didn't know, no.
You didn't know?
I didn't know...
What the fuck is going on right now, dude? There are...
Now, to be fair, again, another red flag. As we're sitting in the lobby, he's like constantly looking around. Like there's no one else in there, but he's just like super paranoid the whole time. And if you guys want to see his mugshot, because So I
think we have to.
I tell people I'd like to think he didn't look quite this sketchy. So type in Evansville murder.
This is getting bleeped, but I gotta see it.
Yeah, so
I can't believe this.
And then go to images, and it'd probably be the first one. Yeah, go to images, and then right there. So
I can't believe red flag, dude. This man is a walking red flag, bro.
Yeah,
dude. You should have met eye contact with him and said no, thank you. You need Jesus.
So very ironically, so I had like some Jesus music on in the car, and as we're going out throughout the night, he asked me as we're waiting at one of the hotels, he's like, "Do you think it's wrong to smoke weed?" And then I'm like, I talked to him about that, but then
what was your answer?
So I don't think
I'm
it's
just curious.
I personally don't think, especially if
Sick,
it's legal,
dude.
I don't think it's wrong. Anyway, so I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, that's what you were hung up on, like the morality of smoking weed as you've
shot your fucking.
So I also found out he was the one that had shot her point blank.
Yeah, I was gonna say he definitely shot her before too.
So
she was
why is she-
also a missing person from Washington as
Why is
well.
Was she blinking like 100 times? Or
I guess I missed all of the flags.
I'm gonna say something. It's gonna hurt your feelings.
That's okay.
You could have saved a life. How does I know that
Well,
sounds terrible.
So ironically,
Doesn't that make you feel like so that you were one of the last
it's
people?
true.
That's terrible. I don't say that as a joke. I mean, I'm just
No, totally.
not to hurt your feelings.
And
either.
ironically,
That's I would feel so bad.
I picked them up, and as we're driving, in my head, I'm like, I hope they don't kill me. Like, just joking around, like you pick up hitchhikers and they kill you. But so I'd like to think I'm pretty easy to get along with. So I think that's why he didn't kill me.
Yeah, you're like overwhelmingly enjoyable.
That's one of my
I
best
think
traits.
this story might top Eric DeLong's getting stabbed by a schizophrenic.
Oh,
in a coffee shop.
Yeah,
In a coffee shop.
Yeah.
I also have a story about picking up a random person.
Did
This
they
happened-
also murder their fiance? I
not-
can't handle that
Not
right
to
now.
my knowledge.
I cannot handle that right
So
now.
they did.
The other night I was.
The other night,
Yeah.
They did.
this was right before I got to this podcast recording.
This was like a couple days ago.
Oh my goodness, Drew.
I went to the gas station around midnight to like get a drink.
Yeah.
And
Oh my god.
there was a kitten in the gas station
Oh,
parking lot.
fucking of course,
This-
Drew's
so
soft
Pennywise.
spot.
I was like, oh shit, I want to get this kitten.
God
Like try to save it.
Sure.
But it was hiding under a car, so I was sitting in my car
my
waiting for
goodness.
everyone else to leave so I could go look, see if I could get
You
it.
want to be weird about it?
So
Yeah.
I go, there's this lady smoking a cigarette, and she doesn't seem like she's going to leave for a while. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll go try to get the cat, and maybe she'll help me.
Yeah.
And so I'm over there, and I'm like, oh, there's a cat under this car. I'm trying to get it. And she doesn't say anything.
Just
She just
ignores
kind of
you.
looks at me. Yeah. So I couldn't get the cat. So I'm like, okay, that didn't work. So I go back to my car, and as I'm opening my door, she just goes, you driving? And I turn around and I said, yeah.
Oh no.
And she asked if she could have a ride, and I said, where to? She said, just down the road. I'm like, okay, this is already a weird situation. Sure, I'll give you a ride. So she's smoking a cigarette the whole time in my car, which
Wow.
Which is not okay.
She didn't even roll down the window.
no,
She didn't even ask.
She didn't ask. She didn't roll down the window.
Wow.
She just
Lit
it up.
But I mean, she was already smoking it, so I mean,
Put that out.
still,
yeah, can you put
I-
that out the window?
we leave the gas station, and I'm like, okay, so where am I going? And she said she didn't tell me where we're going. She just said, you're going straight. So I drive straight for a while, and it was only a couple blocks away, but I had bought like a 15 pack of Cokes, and she saw that, and she was like, can I have one?
What is
I
happening?
said,
Ma'am, haven't you done
I
enough?
said, sure. I gave her one. And
Nice guy.
then as I'm, we like get to where she's going. It's this like hotel behind the Ford Center. I don't know
hotels-
how else to explain. So I pull up outside.
She
and
also has a firearm.
she's sitting in my car, and this whole time she's chewing on ice so loud. But
While smoking
she,
hate that.
and drinking
I'm
a Coke.
like parked outside this place, and she said, "Matter of fact, can you give me some new ice? This ice tastes like it has perfume in it." And so I'm like, "I don't have ice on me." we can go back to the gas station if you'd like.
That's where you just were.
And so we did.
No.
Oh my goodness.
I ran a red light on the way because I was like so like
Distraught.
what
What is
happening?
happening?
Distraught. Yeah.
And as I'm driving back to the gas station, the Cokes roll out of the package in my backseat. There's cans of Coke everywhere. And then I get to the gas station. I'm like, so you just want ice? You don't want a drink? She said, yeah. And can you get me some popcorn?
What is happening?
So I go in.
You left her in your car?
I had my keys. What else was I going to do?
What is happening?
She said, "I'll wait in the car. Can you give me some snacks while you're in there?"
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm going to take
so-
all your change while you're buying
I go
me
back
popcorn.
in.
Give me a pack of Newports.
And
bitch.
so I get her a cup of ice, and I grab her bag of popcorn. I pay for it. I come back out, and I open my door and hand her the popcorn. She goes, "Oh, I meant the blue bag."
No, she did not.
And so I said, "Well, is this one all right? Because I already paid for it." And she said, "Yeah, I'll eat it. Popcorn is popcorn." I'm like, "Okay, good."
What
My
the
God.
fuck is happening?
I
Did
missed
she
the
get
blue
out
bag.
at the gas station?
No,
You drive her more?
took her back to where we just were.
You have Narcan in your car for situations like
Yeah.
this?
She also,
She's definitely hyped up on something.
she was on drugs.
This is why I carry a firearm.
She asked if I smoke, and I'm like, I don't really smoke, but I do have a pack of cigarettes for like.
Friends
For this
or whatever.
occasion.
Yeah.
For
So-
driving homeless people around.
Yeah.
Strange
so
women from the gas station.
I give her 2 cigarettes, and then by the time we get back to the hotel, she has lost the cigarettes.
Oh my goodness.
So she's like searching
Hey,
for
I
them.
smoked both these
and-
cigarettes with the window up.
So then I give her 2 more, and she finally is getting out of my car, and she says, "All right, you be good." And I said, "You too. Have a good night." And she just laughed and went inside.
Did she leave you 5-star reviews on Uber though?
She better have.
You had snacks in there.
I
You
would
had
have sent her
cigarette-
my IMBD page or whatever.
You should have. Can you
Bro.
give me your phone around?
Review?
It's just going to ask you a couple questions here.
Yeah, could you just
Have an
and then-
iPad with a tip.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
You
then
should have broken
sign-
out your cell phone. Hey, we're gonna record a quick podcast real fast called the Drew Cab.
Yeah, dude.
I was like,
God,
I
might
respect your
as well.
customer service.
Drew, what the?
I just
my
wanted
language.
to see what would
What
happen.
the fuck are you thinking, Drew? Jesus, man, are you trying to die? You've only been alive
She
21
was-
years.
She was small. I could have taken her.
Oh my gosh,
she had
dude!
a
No
gun.
comments.
She was on drugs though, so maybe
She had it.
She
She
probably
had
had
it.
some.
She had a gat. I want you to know
I don't think she had it.
Did she have a
Big
purse
gun.
with her?
She had a purse. She also had a loose mug that was empty that kept falling off.
That's what she
the-
keeps her ice in.
Yeah. Can you give us some more?
Here, no, take the mug.
Oh my goodness. I cannot get over it. She said, I meant the blue bag.
Yeah.
It's like, you are not going to tell me what popcorn I'm going to. After all we've been through.
Yeah,
I would've
don't
gave
get
her- I would've
specific,
gave her a
bitch.
5 and sent her in and pulled off.
I'm like, oh.
Dude, I can't believe. Hold on a sec.
God bless him.
Also, I can't believe how trusting both of you are, and I think that says
I mean,
a lot.
I-
Also, how cynical
also,
I am.
A
Yes.
detail I left out. She had her dogs out. Like she was.
Oh my goodness.
She was wearing slides, and it was like
she
30
had
degrees.
the dogs out, dude.
Yeah, like not completely barefoot, but she was wearing slides.
The
and
window
like
was
30
up.
degrees.
That was very
Bro,
gross.
no, thank you, no, thank. Get
But
it?
I was like,
nope.
I have a pocket knife. I can defend myself.
Drew
I
has
want
a
to
pocket
see.
knife.
She had a pocket knife too.
I have a
Drew,
pocket knife and
Drew,
2
Drew,
cigarettes here.
Yeah, she has a cup of ice and 6 murders under her belt. So I don't think she
I don't
really
think-
gives a fuck
I don't
about your
think
pocket
this woman
knife.
was in any state
I don't
of
think
mind
she
to,
lost
like,
the first 2 cigarettes. I think she
Oh,
pocketed
it's
them and got you
No.
one of those 2.
I think she
Gotcha.
genuinely lost one because I was looking for something in my car and I found a
Yeah,
loose
looking
cigarette
for
on
the
the
spilled
floor.
11 Cokes.
And then
So-
you picked it up and you had that reminiscent
So
moment of
she
like,
at least lost one of them.
That's like if you're in high school and you're like, I know my homework was in here somewhere. I just must have missed. You know, you did not do it.
Yeah, no, it's sad. No, I
Yeah,
didn't
but
do
I
it.
just wanted to tell that.
See, I
story.
haven't picked up any murderers since then, but now I have a good story to tell.
That is nothing short of horrendous. So
yeah, that's your
Dude,
story's a little crazier than mine.
hats
but-
off to having probably the best story ever told on this podcast.
I'll take it.
First what do
try.
you think? Do you think there's one better than that?
Yeah, the Mountain Dew Dick story.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
Oh, okay.
that
I've
one's
heard
good.
that one.
That one's good. A gentleman stuck his penis in a Mountain Dew bottle, and then
It
I
wouldn't come
assume
back out.
trying to have sex
Was
with
this
it.
a guest
A
that did
guest.
this? Oh,
no,
okay,
not
nice.
a guest.
Oh no,
Okay.
she knew a guy,
Oh, okay, I was about to say you
an
got-
officer of the law, if you will.
Sure.
That told the
Um,
story.
And then he told her that story secondhand.
I also like Mike Kennedy's wrestling that guy that was on drugs and he's butt naked and super sweaty.
Oh, and he went into great detail
Oh my
about
goodness.
how sweaty this man
You guys
was.
got some good
Yeah, we got
stories on here.
some juicy teats, man. No, dude, but I think we're well over an hour. Let's put a bow on it, man. But anyway, so how do I end podcast?
Was there ever like a dark
thank
moment
you.
on this
There you
journey of like learning YouTube,
Yeah.
learning photography, learning anything really, where you wanted to throw in the towel and like you don't have to go into the moment, but like what pulled you through that moment
And
where you wanted to
It
quit?
can't involve a hotel because I can't handle anymore.
There's too many on this episode.
Can't handle much more.
Yeah. So I honestly, like, I mean, it'll be just random days where I'm like, am I really cut out for this, or can I really make this happen? But I remember certain times where kind of these inflection points in the story where I'm like not sure what to do or not even sure if I believe in myself. And probably one of the biggest things was honestly just my wife, because she's been throughout this whole process probably the one that believes in me the most, to the point where it's like for certain things, I don't think I could have done it until someone believed in me. Like I couldn't even believe in myself until someone believed in me. And then the other thing is just that quote that I love is, I cannot lose if I do not quit. So it's just a matter of showing up every day, continuing to do the work, and trusting the process. I think that's been so. Even on the bad days where things are not going to go well, or you're going to have setbacks, or you're going to not show up even 100%, you're like, as long as I do not quit, I cannot lose.
Just as long as I show up with a good 60%, it's better than not being there at all.
Keep showing up.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree, man. It's like the tortoise and the hare. I don't think there's any correlation there. I'm just trying to I'm trying to assimilate.
I like that.
But yeah, man, I really do. I think I like you as a person. I think for the most part, man. Minus the whole hotel story, I'm a little let down by how that really wrapped up at the end. I was like, Jesus.
You're doing all your editing on a MacBook.
Are you
So I have a
last minute question out of nowhere?
at work. I have a Mac there, and then I have a custom built PC at home where I do my. Also talking about the murderer story. No. This is wrapping it all up. So the YouTube stuff. One thing that I've seen on the podcast that does really well is take kind of your most engaging moment, take a clip out of that, even if it's like 15 or 20 seconds, put that at the very beginning. So when someone clicks on it for the first time, that's kind of the hook. So they're like, okay, this is why you should watch the next an hour and 30 minutes.
You just gave us our hook, by the way.
There's the hook.
We've kind of been doing
That's
that.
the constructive criticism you're looking for.
Yeah, that's what
I honestly, that is a great. I see that a lot, and I think it is a.
It lets you know what you're in store for.
So that tied with the title and thumbnail, if you can, because especially if you are not known by people, and that was one of the biggest things for our YouTube channel, is you have to answer the question for the audience, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why should I, click on this video,
Invest.
and then invest an hour of my important time?
Yeah.
So if it's just a random podcast episode where I don't know the people and I don't know the content or the value of it for me, there's no reason for me to click on that podcast.
No, absolutely. I think that every episode that we make, we're trying to make people want to invest.
Totally.
So we're fine tuning the process, and like you said, we just keep showing up and we keep
showing up, get 1% better every day.
Yeah,
and that
try.
compounds over a long time.
Try to. So thanks for the hook, man. We appreciate it. That covers tips and tricks for the end of the episode too. So good thumbnails.
Last minute shout outs and events you guys might have coming up.
Yeah,
Yes.
dates for anything.
Oh,
and then
yes.
shout outs. So
So shout out to my lovely wife if you're watching this for always believing in me. And then if you guys want to come to One Life Church, we're always accepting people. Our next big event is on December 24th. That'll be our Christmas service. That'll be Sunday
sick.
this year. Follow all my socials. I think I have a link tree now for all my personal stuff. It's just Jimmy Marshall. You can search on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I think it's Jimmy Marshall YT. And then all the stuff I do on the side. If you are a real estate professional with a podcast and you're looking to get more eyes on your content and land more clients, hit me up.
Oh yeah, do that.
Speaking of your YouTube, you need to update your banner.
I do now.
500.
I hit 557 and I haven't even updated it.
No, dude, that's awesome, man. You're an upstanding and outstanding, both upstanding and outstanding individual. So I hats off to you for being a better person than me. I'm sure Tom and Drew both feel the same way. Well, I don't know about Drew. You're a pretty good person.
After all that customer service,
yeah.
I think Drew wins.
Yeah, you guys are like neck and neck for Person of the Year award. So, But no, you could have done anything for the last 2 hours, but you came in and talked to the Days Grimm. We greatly appreciate you, man. Seriously.
You're cool guys.
Shotgun too. It was very fast.
True.
So
Quick turnaround.
we made it happen, and I really, really appreciate your 2 hours of time today.
Happy to be here.
Thank you so much, man. So this has been another thrilling episode of the Days Grimm. We're going to try to play some music maybe this time, but my name is Brian Michael Day.
My name is Thomas Graham.
And I'm Drew Head.
All right, man. Thank you so much. This has been Senior Jimmy. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you.
Thank you.